Plate tectonics. What are they? Are a theory explaining the structure of the Earth's crust, associated phenomena as resulting from the interaction of rigid lithospheric plates which move slowly over the underlying mantle. So, for the better understanding of the tectonic plates, we need to talk about the Earth's structure. The Earth consists of four concentric layers, inner core and outer core, which are the first layers in the center of the Earth. The mantle is the hot dense melted rock beneath the crust, and the crust is the thin outer shell of the Earth. I know this subject is quite difficult to understand, but imagine the Earth layers as a pool full of floaters. The pool ground will be the core, the water will be the mantle, and the floaters on top will be the Earth crust moving all around the mantle. Knowing now about the Earth's structure, we can focus on the tectonic plates. These structures of the crust have four specific movements in which they interact in the area of boundary. Furthermore, cause the creation of different landforms.
Collision movement. Collision movement consists on two plates of the same type, continental or oceanic, moving towards each other. Since they have the same density, they can't sink, so they crash into each other, causing earthquakes and creating mountains.
An example of this will be the collision between India and Asia. That was perhaps one of the most spectacular geological events to occur over the last 500 million years. It's a collision between the Indian and the Eurasian plate that has led to the form of the Tibetan Plateau.
Conservative margins are also known as transform faults. They are mainly found on the ocean floor, where they offset mid-ocean ridges and enable the ocean to spread at different rates. These faults were recognized as the connection between the ocean ridges, divergent margins, and ocean trenches, convergent margins. At conservative margins, plates slide past each other, so the relative movement is horizontal and classified as either sinistral to the left or dixtral to the right. Lithosphere is neither created nor subducted, and meanwhile conservative plates margins do not result in volcanic activity, they are the sites of extensive shallow focus earthquakes, occasionally of considerable magnitude.
The conservative plate tectonic movement is the most destructive plate tectonic movement of all, because of the large amount of pressure that is exerted into the surface when this happens. Two famous examples of these are the Cocos-Nazca Ridge and Pacific Ocean Spreading Ridge, and is very evident because of the cracks and fractures in the oceanic surface. The epicenter is the point where there is the biggest amount of pressure, and because it is the place where the plate tectonics crash or meet.
Destructive plate boundary. A destructive plate boundary is sometimes called a convergent or tensional plate margin. This occurs when oceanic and continental plates move together. The oceanic plate is forced under the lighter continental plate. Friction causes melting of the oceanic plate and may trigger earthquakes. Magma rises up through cracks and erupts onto the surface. An example of that destructive plate boundary is where the Nazca Plate is forced under the South American plate.
Divergent boundary or constructive margins occurs when two plates are moving away from each other. This movement generates volcanic and earthquake activity and the creation of large cracks, rifts, volcanic islands, or mountain ranges under the sea.
It could create a craft or rift when the space between the two plates is on solid surface. But when the two plates are under the sea, it allows the magma to rise up from the mantle to fill up the space, and when it cools down, it creates a new crust. An example of this movement is the African plate and the Arabian plate. Moving apart from each other, is the allowance of the creation of the Red Sea Rift, or the Pacific Antarctic Ridge, which is formed by the separation of the Pacific Plate and the Antarctic Plate.